live from the Love Lounge, a colorful corner where the snacks are always tasty and the drinks are always free. If you're watching live, thanks for joining us. If you have a question for myself or our guest today, you can leave it in the comments section down below this video, and we'll get to them throughout the show. Our guest today is a web developer, a solutions finder, and an all-around great guy. He's the owner, operator, proprietor, CEO of Eric Hersey Web Design and Development. Please welcome Mr. Eric Hersey. Hey, Eric. Doing great. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate having you.
Oh, look at that. A little split screen there. That's pretty nice.
Little split screen action.
You are a professional.
I wouldn't go that far.
Nah, no, that opening was fantastic. I don't think I'm going to be able to put together that many sentences in a row without stumbling over my words.
I get all the good stuff out of the way in the first 30 seconds. The rest of it is just a mess.
Then we can all act like fools, right?
That's exactly right. So tell me about your business. What do you offer? How does somebody get a hold of you and get things done on the web?
Well, my business, as by the name, is tactically made so that way you know right from the get-go. I make websites and I develop websites. So I have the most original name I like to think of for a business in the Ohio Valley. Eric Hersey Web Design and Development. Really, when it comes down to it, yes, I make websites. But my whole goal is to work with local businesses in the Ohio Valley to allow them to be found on search engines. That's really the game. Yes, you can make a pretty website. Yes, we can, create some nice graphics and some cool, nifty features. But I think when it comes down to it, most people that want websites want web traffic and they want to be found. So having you on as high as possible on the Google machine is usually the top priority. So that's what I help people do.
So what you're talking about is, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So what we're talking about is search engine optimization, correct? Ooh. And that's how to, did I get that right?
You did, but it's such a complicated term. I try not to say it because people are like, what?
Well, and that's why I was going to say search engine optimization. Now explain it to me. What does it mean?
We don't have enough time to explain when it comes down to it. Like I said, if you have a website out there, you have a business, you want to be found on the internet. When somebody types in your brand name, hopefully you're there. But more importantly, when somebody types in blank, blank near me, whatever they're looking for. In my case, web designer, Wheeling, West Virginia. I want to show up. If I'm in that top 3, if I'm on the Google listings, then I have a good chance of being at least an option for you. And if you're found on the 17th page, you're probably not going to be found. So how do we get that? How do we get customers? And there is optimization strategies. And that is what I listen to podcasts endlessly, watch YouTube videos, read books, all that nerdy stuff. I make sure I know that so you can come to me. I tell you what to do, or I just do it for you. And then you guys reap the rewards and get the clicks and all the love from the users.
So here's a question. This is more out of my own curiosity, and I'm sure there's not a short answer to this or an even reasonable answer for this. But like, if I'm searching, say I want to order a pizza tonight, and I'm, I don't really want all the places that I've always had, and I just search, pizza place near me. Obviously, there's 7,000 pizza places in the Ohio Valley. What is the deciding factor on which one of those ends up at the top?
All right. So, of course, that is not an easy explanation, but a couple of things you're going to want to look at. Number one, your location. If your computer or your phone, and typically you're probably searching on your phone right now because you want to call them or make that order, 80% or more are searching from their phone. It's going to have your location. So it's going to take that into an account. So if you're going to more than likely have locations closer to where you're at. So I'm out in the middle of nowhere, Rayland. If I searched, actually, Montini's down the street. So they have a really good shot where if you're in Marshall County, you're likely going to have a location there. That's one small factor, but then other things of how many ratings and reviews does this establishment have? Are there comments? How well was their website built? Are there pages out there that says, the best, pizza places near me? How do they utilize Yelp? There's a lot of factors involved to get that spot. And not to mention, and we'll leave you on a cliffhanger right here because this is the difficult. There's 2 algorithms you need to hit. There's a local algorithm and a national algorithm. Type in pizza, you're likely to get a national algorithm in maybe the Wikipedia page of how pizza's made. Type in near me, and now we're talking local. And that is really where I try to help out businesses locally because you might not want to explain how a pizza's made or what ingredients are on the best pizza. Really, you just want people to go to your store or call you up or what have you. So that's a lot of times where I try to say, all right, you do these things to help get local traffic or search results.
Okay, so we brought up pizza. We're going to talk about food here in just a minute, and food in the Ohio Valley. So I have one more question about business stuff, and I'm curious. Small business owners, like, I look at things from my perspective. Technology is passing me by. I'm getting to the point. I used to know, like, I used to be on top of all the things. Like when I was in my teens, in my early 20s, I'm losing all of that. My 5-year-old knows more about the computer than I do. I'm getting to the point where my parents were 25 years ago, where it doesn't make sense. It's starting to get lost on me. So a business owner, the web can be scary. It can be new. What does a small business owner that doesn't have a great web presence need to know to be able to compete right now?
Well, there's one little thing, and this sounds crazy, but I'm going to say there are businesses out there that don't even need websites, because the biggest factor right now, when you search locally, most people are going to realize that, hey, there's some organic and paid traffic there, and then there's this what they call the 3-pack, and it has 3 business listings and a map. And that has nothing to do with your website. That is called Google My Business, and it is a free directory that you set up, and you can optimize that. And if you get in that 3-pack, if you don't even have a website, you're still going to get a ton of visits and hopefully leads. Now, am I going to say don't have a website? No. But I'm going to say that is probably the single most important thing right now I urge people to do that are not tech savvy. If you know how to set up a Facebook account for your business, set up a Google My Business profile and optimize that sucker. Get your hours on there. You can schedule posts. You can do all types of stuff, because that will, number one, drive traffic to your store.
And all of that is separate from having a website or buying something or you subscribing to some service.
Yeah, absolutely. Google My Business is actually a free service that goes through Google. And the thing is, if the one thing that Google loves more than anything else in this world is Google. So if you use Google products, they will reward you. So there are a lot of little hacks, tricks, using your Chrome, becoming a Google local guide and giving people reviews. There's all types of little things you can do to help your business. So I've been making websites probably since 1999 when I was in high school, but it just pretty much over the last couple of years, I've actually developed and said, hey, I'm going to do this for a living. And I honestly just launched my website maybe, I think it was September. And just with the little hacks, trips, and tips, I've developed Google thinks I'm just as relevant as the industry leader in a lot of the cases. So you can definitely do it. And I haven't spent a dime on advertising to do that. So for the small local businesses out there, if you open up a book or you Google how to do some of these things, my website, I give away tons of information for free. Each week I recommend podcasts and tools that are free. My goal is to help the local web, basically the local web in the Ohio Valley. My goal is to make it better, because I hate going and trying to find a menu or a location, what their hours are, and we don't have that information in front of us. And we should, because getting this information out there is not super expensive if you talk to the right people. And I love being a resource, talking to a lot of business owners and say, hey, just do this. I'm not going to physically do all the work. I'm one guy that, at my house, but I will gladly give information, because we all benefit when somebody updates their hours on their store and we don't end up driving up there and say, oh, they're not actually open on Sundays, but the web said they were.
Your website is erichersey.com. It's scrolling at the bottom of the page. And I was going through your website last week, and I'm thinking, wow, this is a really nice website. And then I thought, of course it is. He's the one that built it. Of course he's got a really cool website. Right. But no, it's awesome. It's got a lot of cool information on there. So we were talking about some different things and how restaurants are ranked in Google and that sort of thing. And you came up with a list of the top restaurants in the Ohio Valley. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, so it's not necessarily top restaurants, but it's the top restaurants that have websites. So okay. That's number one thing. You have to have a website. And then what I used was a qualifier, because I said, well, how does Google actually rank your website? There are a lot of little factors, but there's actually a metric out there that's used by a very popular tool that's called domain authority. And I'm not going to go into a huge explanation of how that's taken care of, but basically they give you a number. And I like to kind of say it's like a credit score. You and I all have credit scores, and there's ranges here and there. They kind of give your website a score based on how likely Google would rank you for your search terms, So essentially, I went through about 70. I think there was 78 local websites that I went through just last Thursday, and I found out the domain authority on all of those, and I ranked them up to find out, in Google's eyes, what Ohio Valley business has the best website. So I have a list here if you'd like to, hear a couple of them and maybe why.
Yeah, let's go through it. Let's do it.
All right. What do you say we go with the top 7, considering we're at WPRO? What do you say?
Top 7 for Channel 7. Let's do it.
All right. So, hey, I'm not sure if you've had Avenue Eats, but Avenue Eats is actually the number 7 website in the Ohio Valley. I am a big fan. Love the leaders. And I will tell you, out of all the websites that I was looking at, it might have been one of the fastest loading websites that pulled up. And that is a huge factor. The faster it loads on a mobile screen, the more likely Google is actually going to love that.
Great.
Rank that high. So the funny thing with Avenue Eats was it's been around. The website was bought about 7 years ago. It looks like 2012. So the longer your website has been in existence, the more likely you're going to have a higher score because you're doing a lot of the factors. It proves that your establishment has been around. So that might come into play a little later when we go up the list. So
number 6.
Number 6 is Generation. So we're hanging out in Wheeling,
right?
Generations. Their website was made in 2000. Their domain, meaning the Generations, Wheeling.com, was in 2005. One big factor I noticed is they have it's a fast website and they have a lot of social engagement. So people are out there sharing their quality content, meaning they might post, hey, there's a special, and people are out there sharing it. Google loves that. So that's one reason why they are jumping to the top.
Okay.
Number 5 is a complete number 5. And this one baffled me. All right. Because they're doing a couple things that I would say you need to fix this, but they're up there. Fralick's Classic Corner in Steubenville. So So Fralick's Classic Corner, they've built a website in 2008. They are updating their site, so it's considered fresh in Google's eyes, but it's not mobile friendly. So that is a no-no, and normally Google will not like that. You have to. You don't want to pinch and zoom on your phone anymore. But they being around long enough, and they're updating content with their menu and items and stuff like that. So that's always good to update your website. The more frequently you update your website, the more favorable it'll be for Google. We're gonna hang out.
Number 4.
Number 4, we're gonna hang out in that area up north here, and it's actually DJ's Barbecue Ribs and Grill. So their website is a beautiful website, nicely made. They have a huge following online. They're updating it. It's fresh. Although the domain's only been owned for 5 years, so the longer they might be able to skip up the line. And these are just small factors in what might be contributing to some of this domain authority.
Okay, number 3.
Number 3, we're back in Wheeling, and it's one of my personal favorites. It's Later Alligator down in Center Market.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I looked at it, and they've had their domain for almost 11 years. They have a big social following, almost 9,000 people on Facebook. Their website was fast. It was very sleek. But a huge factor, and I think this is why they're number 3, is they've been mentioned and linked in several Wheeling-based articles or West Virginia-based eatery articles. And a thing called link building and getting links to your website is huge when it comes to driving your web traffic and your domain authority.
Okay, let's go to number 2.
Number 2. All right, so this was a tough one because, believe it or not, number 2 and number 1 are actually tied for an actual score for domain authority.
Okay.
All right, but so I had to sit down today and I had to really look at the differences and determine which website was better. Okay.
So you had to come up with a tiebreaker.
Oh yeah. So it was really difficult.
Okay.
They were really, 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 really close. So it's very difficult, but I think number 2 is actually going to be DeCarlo's. DeCarlo's Pizza.
Okay.
they've had their domain for 20 years and 11 months. So they have
wow.
I mean, it is a famous. It's famous for Ohio Valley food. They do have. It looked like, counted them up, they had 14 locations, and a lot of those were actually branching out. So you have some. I believe there was an Akron, and I believe there was a Washington, PA. So there was a Myrtle Beach. But the reason I kind of gave the #1 spot to Undo's is Undo's has been around for 22 years and 10 months with their website. They bought their web domain in 1997. So that is a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. They have 13,000 followers on Facebook. Their website is considered fresh, meaning they're updating it frequently enough. And in general, I believe they're 4 locations. And overall, I mean, I've had food from every single one of these. I can definitely recommend. Through my research, there's definitely things that I would say, hey, fix this, fix this, fix this. But I also think they're doing a lot of things right. And to be in the top 7 out of 78, that's pretty impressive. So
you got to be doing something right to make it into the top 7. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and once again, so criteria #1, I took away all national brands, because national brands are
right.
They're going to kind of cheat in a sense. They have the huge marketing to go behind them. So I'm not saying we're not fighting against the national brands. And if you didn't have a website, guys, sorry, you didn't qualify for the list. And there were some really favorites in the Ohio Valley that didn't have websites. So if you ever want to qualify for my lovely list of restaurants, to get that website made.
All right, Eric, we are just about out of time. I appreciate the work you put into the show today. Thanks for building all the content for me so that I didn't have to.
Hey, in the future, I might actually just throw this list up on my website in case you want to see where you.
Great idea.
But I will tell
Eric Hersey,
if you're a local business and you want to find out what your domain authority is, go to moz.com. Free tool. You just sign up and you can check 10 times a month.
All right, cool. EricHersey.com. Check them out. And if you're looking for some web design, some web development, some in-depth information on how to get your business up to the top of those Google search results, talk to this guy right here, Eric Hersey. Thank you so much for joining the show. I appreciate you.
Hey, thank you very much.
All right, that is Split Screen. Thanks so much to Eric for being on the show today. Again, his website is erichersey.com. That's Hersey, Hersey, not Hershey like the chocolate, Hersey like the web developer, erichersey.com. Thanks so much for joining us on the show. We will be back again tomorrow with a brand new Split Screen. Keep your eyes on Love OB on Facebook. And thanks for joining us.